Good morning everybody, how are we all? Well, rite of passage or midlife crisis, something I want to chat about today as we wander the back streets in the red light district of Bangkok. Millions of people visit Thailand without ever setting foot in the red light districts. These areas represent a very small part of the country geographically and culturally, but they do receive a disproportionate amount of attention on YouTube and social media. In this video, I'm walking through the streets of Nana Plaza and Soy Cowboy the day after, and we're looking at the brutal truth about these places and how they can affect so many lives. Right now we are in the infamous Soy Cowboy, and it is 7 in the morning. It is the end of the day for the industry here. Now this is just a little short glimpse of the Soy Cowboy at 7 in the morning. They're all packing up. Must have been a big night last night. We've had public holiday here, so a lot of the bars and that were shut for a couple of days, so this place would have been thumping last night. So yeah, I wanted to talk to you all about some of the traps that expats fall into and a lot of the observations I'm going to share with you. I expect that all of my subscribers are intelligent enough to read between the lines with this video, because I've got to be careful. I can't be too explicit, otherwise I lose monetization. But I did want to discuss the temptations that this great city and great country has. And I want to start by saying that in no way is this all about Thailand. It seems to take center stage every time you mention Thailand in a discussion, or even back at home. As soon as the topic Thailand comes up, you know, the sex industry seems to be in the forefront. Sadly, society looks at all the negatives first, but it is what it is. And as much as I dislike it, and as I said from the beginning, I really don't like exploitation of women. It's definitely not cool, but it's something you've got to deal with here, and you've got to come to terms with it. And I've got to say, I'm complicit as well. If I go into a lady bar, that makes me complicit. But I understand and I have a connection with this industry, and I'll explain. So my personal connection to a similar industry was, I was in the music industry back in Australia for 10 years. And I started off as a roadie and eventually had my own band, and we were touring around northwest Australia. And back in the day, it was very good money. We used to do rock covers, everything from, you know, AC/DC, Led Zeppelin, all the classics. So we were a bar band, bar rock band, heavy metal, whatever you want to call it. I have very fond memories of my experience. But it was a travelling circus, and when you toured, we used to do these big tours, and we toured all through the north, and we got paid good money. We used to go to very remote mining towns, some that don't even exist anymore, like Shea Gap, Goldsworthy. There were all these mining towns that were privately owned by the mining companies. So anyway, we used to tour up there. And back then, this was early to mid 90s, we were getting $2,000 a gig. So we would have an agent that would plan our whole tour. Now, one of the things back in those days in Australia, for the old buggers like me out there, will remember the Skimpies. And that was a franchise of strippers, right? Now, they used to tour with us. It was all part of the circus. So, you know, I kind of liken it to a circus, because it pretty much was. And, you know, back then, me and the boys, we were just partying. I think I came back with less money than I left with. We were just non-stop partying. It was a great lifestyle back then for young guys, you know. But anyway, the point that I'm making, we used to tour with the Skimpies. I'm going to move over here where it's a bit quiet just to tell you this story. So we used to tour with the skimpies who were strippers, and we became really close to these guys. We used to hang out with them, party with them, you know, it was fun. And they were all really nice girls, and they were just making a living just like we were. And I've got to say, I've got a soft spot for the women over here. A, I definitely have a sympathetic heart, and B, I've got a soft spot for them because I understand their peril. And seriously, I've got several friends over here who were and are in the industry, and spent a lot of time with them as friends. And you know, I understand where they're coming from, and that's kind of like, I feel like I have a connection because I toured with these girls in Australia. It wasn't easy for them. You know, they were just doing what they were doing to make money. They certainly weren't there just for shits and giggles, but the same could be said here. And I think if you haven't been here before, and again, this video is really for the lads who have never really been out here. So I wanted to share that with you because I kind of understand the business. I understand their business model, and I understand why they do it. Now, I've spoken to many people, expats and locals over here. There is a notion there that the girls have a choice. Now, that one's debatable. I would kind of debate that as well. I don't think all of the girls have a choice, and I just think that it's something that's been going on for a long time. But I don't want this video to, this isn't a, you know, a dark video. What I'm doing is putting some light on the realities of the situation here in Thailand. And again, for all the blokes who want to come out here, they don't have a lot of experience here, I just want to show you a different side and something to be aware of. So I want to look at some areas that I think that you could fall into, some traps that I see everywhere. Going back to the choices that we all have as adults, and the same could be said with the women over here. They do have a choice. But again, I would argue that. I've heard it over and over where, yeah, they don't have to work there. They can just go and work in a bloody factory for 300 baht a day. It's not nice. These guys work hard, man. They work long hours in factories, and it's an easy to get drawn into the industry because they can make 4 or 5 times the money with half the work. But you know what comes with it, right? So I just wanted to establish that fact. I just wanted to let you guys know that that's my stance. The reality is a lot of people get caught up into negative lifestyles here. It's a pretty easy thing to do. And I think if you come over here alone, you're even more susceptible. If you come over here as a single guy, again, sure, go and get it out of your system. Come to these places, learn, I would say. Come here to learn. Don't just come here in excess as a millionaire and inflating your ego and all the rest of it, which we're going to talk about. And really look after number one. Number one is you. Always look after you. And you can get carried away with the girls and you get carried away with the party and whatnot. But you've got to sit down and reassess and take inventory every now and again. And especially the single blokes. Look, there is a big difference between having a partner, a Thai partner over here and not. And that is, I think that is a fact. And I've seen a lot of grounded guys out here, and I'm not, let's put aside the bar industry and the nightlife industry, okay? Outside of Bangkok, outside of Pattaya, normal guys with normal partners, Thai partners, from all walks of life, all living happily together, okay? And we can go on and on and on about transactional relationships. That's what we're going to talk about a little bit more this morning. But look, I think life is a transaction. Life is a giant transaction, and what relationship isn't transactional to a sense? But there's a big difference between that and dating bar girls, which I wouldn't do. Definitely would steer clear of that, because that's going to be an endless loop of drama. You can do it by all means, but trust me, it's not going to end well. All right, we're going to go down Soi 4 here, and it's pretty busy. Look, some of these bars are still open. I can't believe it. I'm going to cross the road because I don't want to get too personal. But I thought it'd be nice and quiet down here. Hang on, I've got to cross the road here. Not get myself killed. Oh no, they are closing, but anyway, this is Soi 4, and this is where the famous Nana Plaza. There it is there. Oh, here's an iconic shot, guys. This kind of sums it up. The garbage truck. First thing in the morning, it's bringing out the garbage. So they're rolling out the garbage. So this is the day after, okay? You see here, this is Hooters. There's a nightclub down here. Now, so what happens over here is a lot of guys who live their simple lives back at home come over here and become these instant millionaires. The egos inflate, and I think this does something to your personality over here for guys. We're just simpletons back home, and then you come here and all of a sudden you feel like you're special, because they do make you feel special wherever you go, you know. And we know what the reason's for. There's, you know, again, you've all got the intelligence to read between the lines. But that's something you've just got to be careful of. Don't let that shit get to you, you know. I'm going to button off here. Hang on, guys. All right, I've sat down for a drink because it's really hot today. You've got to watch your fluid intake here. So going back to the inflated egos and the king for a day dilemma. That's the big one, and I see it here a lot. You see the attitudes. I don't know, just for some people it's very overwhelming, and they get drunk on that stuff, and it's intoxicating, but it's not good for you. It's something you need to watch out for. Keep your ego in check. Otherwise you'll just end up being another miserable expat sitting in a lonely bar, because once that rush, once that reality wears off and you kind of realise you're not that person that you initially thought you were here, again, reading between the lines, that's a reality check for a lot of people. And again, no judging here. We've all been through it. I've felt that many times when I come out to these countries. The relationship trap. I think you should remove the word relationship or girlfriend from bar or nightclub, because that's just fantasy land. They are professionals over here, and they know how to make you feel good. These guys can see you a mile away, and if you're vulnerable, you're easy prey. And you've got to think like that, because that's the reality. And I understand we've all heard it all before, but it's true. I just wouldn't go anywhere near a relationship with someone remotely close to the industry, because it won't be a relationship. It'll be pure transactional, and a lot of guys are happy with that, you know. I get this comment all the time where it's easier just to pay for it, you know. I don't have any baggage that comes with it, no responsibilities, and I get it, no judging again, but be very, very careful. That's the biggest trap over here, the honey trap, that a lot of guys get caught up in. We see it over and over and over. And to be honest, it's an easy one to avoid. If you want a serious relationship, you're just not going to come to these places, all right? And even with the dating sites, you've got to be very careful. The video I did on the dating site was sponsored, and what I couldn't mention is that there are some dating apps, Thai Friendly being one of them, and that's a really fun app, trust me. You're gonna have a lot of fun on Thai Friendly, but I'll tell you now, 80% of the girls on there are freelancers, so you need to be very careful with that. I think after a while, once you get experience on these dating apps, you're going to understand the difference between the legit girls and the, the ladies of the night. They're really easy to spot. Lack of profile substance is the first indicator. I first and foremost wanted to come out here and do my content creation. That was my number one motivation, and I figured I'd do some dating while I was out here, and here I am doing exactly what I planned. But again, you just got to be careful. And that's the other trap you've got to be careful of, guys, your health. And to me, health, that's number one at our age. What you don't want to do is come out here and see your health decline. And I know most of us, we're not all going to be in perfect health at our age. You know, when you turn 50, unless you're really consciously looking after your health, it's something you've got to watch here. Again, bad habits. Start drinking, getting into the bars, getting into the girls. You know, again, read between the lines. There's a lot of risk associated with playing the field. Do it safe. Don't get complacent. It's easy to do. Really easy to do. So, you know, just be careful. All right, I'm coming down to the end of Soi 4 here. So that's Soi 4 there. So Nana Plaza is down there. And I guess that's kind of the heart of this particular area. Lots of tourists. This place skips at night time, man. This place goes off. I can see a lot of people hanging around, like you can see they're just crawling out of the big nights and whatnot. Now I'm gonna cut through here, and we're gonna go down a quieter alley. Now, on a positive note, so it's really nice for me to be able to just pop by here and just visit now. I come through here every now and again. Again, it's not my main attraction here in Bangkok. I much prefer getting out of these areas. But every now and again I might come in here for a meeting, meet some people, drop into a bar, have a couple, and then get the hell out of here. Because again, it is all framed up for tourists and the industry. So that's, in this particular region, it's all framed around that. So it's money, 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 baby. Money makes the world turn around. And we're a part of that system. So I'm not sure I've been too articulate this morning, everybody. I have been a bit crook, so I've had a week off. So coming back into it, I'm a bit foggy today. But getting back to the subject, yeah, I think this all stems and turns around back to how Thailand can change you as a person, and which way will you go. And just be very aware of that it will change you, there is no doubt. Coming to places like this are going to change you forever. Whether that's attitude or your own moral dilemmas or whatnot, it is going to change you for better or for worse. For me, I feel like it's made me a stronger person. It's making me a stronger person because I'm more aware. I'm kind of more aware of myself, and I'm alone here. Okay, I have my Thai girlfriend. We still have a language barrier, you know, that's the reality. I don't have a big friendship circle here. You know, again, you know, I'm speaking from the heart. And you have a lot of time to think about yourself. You have a lot of time to think about your mistakes you've made in your life and the good things that you've done. You can't blame this country for your bad mistakes and your bad choices, you know? And do your homework. Come over here and spend some time, man. Trust me. You need to spend more time here on a holiday before you even consider coming here. Don't pack up and come over here if you haven't been here. Big mistake. I've got friends that have been coming over here regularly. I've got one in particular who I spent some time with recently. Dear friend of mine. Really nice guy. And he's been coming up here, and he's an entrepreneur and businessman. And I'm telling him, be careful, brother. Don't come over here thinking this is a gold mine, because it's not. And I think it's quite the opposite. I personally, at this juncture, would not get a business. The only time I would consider a business is maybe helping the girlfriend out, you know, with a beauty clinic or something cheap. But if I'm going to pitch in for a business, I'm going in it knowing that I'm going to lose that money. So I might as well just throw that money in the bin, because I wouldn't expect that you could make an honest profit over here. It would be very, very difficult. It's hard enough doing it in the West, let alone coming over here. So, you know, really I'm going back to don't up and leave, do your holiday trips out here and just make sure that the path that you're going to follow is going to be the best path for you. Now, I'm going to come out on the main drag. It's going to get noisy here. And I'm coming out here. There's a steakhouse up here called Bully's that I used to go to. There it is there. And I used to meet my girlfriend. I used to come out here, like I said, once a month to see Patchy. And we met here only because I really didn't know the city. And I didn't know the place. So, of course, I would meet here. It was a central location. And I think, had I known what I know now, I probably wouldn't have brought her here. Especially in the early days, I made some silly mistakes by, you know, bringing my girlfriend to this place. It was just stupid, really. But, you know, again, the girls aren't stupid. The Thai girls are not dumb. They know the drill. And anyway, I have nothing but fond memories. And this isn't a doom and gloom video. This was one of the places I used to take Patchy for dinner. And what's really funny, she was so mannered that I would take her there for tacos, or, you know, I was thinking, oh, you like spicy food, so I'll go and take you there for tacos, because, you know, I can only eat so much of the really spicy Thai food. My stomach just can't take it. I love it. But anyway, I took her to Bully's for tacos, thinking, oh yeah, she likes spicy food, we can compromise here. And I'll eat tacos with her. And back then she was really mannered. Hang on, I'm going to cross the road here. This is a freaking busy, very busy intersection at night time. This place goes off. I'm going to cross the road here. Hang on. So I used to take her to Bully's for tacos, thinking, oh, you know, she loves the spicy food and she's going to appreciate that. And I think out of respect, she was eating it, telling me it was nice. Now, if I ask her to come to Bully's to eat tacos, she'd be like, nah, I don't want. She doesn't like it. She loves the, you know, the Isan food, which in terms of spicy is on another level. But yeah, I've even said to her, hey, let's go and, I was going to take her out here for a reunion, or an anniversary actually. And I said, hey, you want to go to Bully? She's like, number one, no. I don't like she doesn't like the food. And number two, you know, she's a very, very resourceful woman, and she doesn't like wasting money. She, you know, she knows we're at a rebuilding phase, and she's been very good for me in that sense. And every now and again I've got to say to her, come on Patchy, we're going out. I've got to force her to go out. Here's one of the alleys here.
How are you?
Yeah.
Good morning.
Yeah, good.
Where you come from?
Australia.
How long have you been here?
Oh, 2 years. I live here.
In Bangkok.
Yeah. But out in Samrong area,
Where
yeah.
you going now?
I just come visit. Work. You think you think this area less tourist now?
Now, no. Not good.
Not good?
Yeah, no good now.
Since when? 1 year, you think?
Okay.
Been quiet?
Yeah.
Why? Why you think quiet? Why you think no tourists?
Because America, Iran fighting.
Oh, you think because of war?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely quieter.
Yeah. We have only Arab.
I'm just talking to this gentleman because when I used to come here years ago, he's a regular. This is his tuk-tuk.
Yeah.
And
Where you going now?
me, I go back home. I get on the BDS and get out of here. You take care, my friend.
Okay.
All right. He thinks it's the war. I don't know about that. I think that I think politically Thailand's been trying to shuffle things around on their visas and all the rest of it to try and stimulate the tourism. I think they are realising that they're hemorrhaging tourists. And I, to be honest, think it all comes down to price, guys. I think the reality is that we're all doing it rough out in the West for our standards. Like, we're getting slammed by taxes and all the rest of it. So it's not easy for the average Joe in Australia to go on a holiday, man. Like, it's expensive to do a holiday in Australia, let alone coming out here. You know, you're looking at $400 just for a bloody visa. Sorry, $400 for a passport in Australia. You know, there's nearly $500 just to get a passport to get out of the country. And so yeah, I mean, putting aside of all of Thailand's issues here and the shift in the demographic coming to these places, all that doesn't bother me, because I see this, especially Bangkok, I see Bangkok as a cosmopolitan city, and it's just got everyone here. It's what makes it a good place. But again, I think the tourism has taken a hit because the West has taken a hit. And I don't think it's an Australian problem. I think it's a West problem. And, you know, I guess the war is taking effect, trickle effect, especially on cost with petrol and all the rest of it. So, in a sense, there is some truth there, but I think that no one can afford to come out here. What was once a cheap place is not anymore. And even Bali is a very popular location for Australians, especially where I come from, because you can jump on a plane and be there in 5 hours, but it's still expensive. My family went out there with, my ex-wife went out there with the kids for a week, and I reckon they must have spent 10 grand out there. It's not cheap. People think it's cheap, but it's not. And unless you've been to Thailand, you're going to do the same here. You're going to come here as a tourist. You're not going to know where the affordable places are. You're going to end up in these tourist hubs paying Western prices for Western food and all the other trappings. So yeah, I think it comes down to costs. What do you all think? Jump in the comments. Let us know why you think Thailand's taken a hit on tourism. And I know I'm going to get a lot of different opinions, especially around demographic that's coming over here, the shift in demographic, especially in places like Pattaya and Phuket. Very interesting what's going on there. Anyway, thank you so much for hanging around. I hope you all have a lovely week. I hope you're planning your holidays and retirement for the future. If you like the video and you like the channel, please hit the sub button, everybody. And I hope to see you on the next one. Just good cuts. It's awesome. Very clever, and it's a beautiful shop in there. If you had hair to get a haircut, 300 baht though.